Hi cuties! I hope you guys are doing so well. So many of you guys have been asking me when I'm gonna be making another custom acrylic video. So today I'm going to be making custom acrylics inspired by the arrival of fall and autumn, the season that I love so much. And don't worry, I'm gonna be making a separate video doing just Halloween themed custom acrylics because I can easily make like 15 custom acrylics that are just like all Halloween themed. If you've never watched one of these videos before, I basically just use clear acrylic or white acrylic, or sometimes a mixture of both, and I mix it with mica powders and chalk and a whole bunch of glitter to create really fun, customized, one-of-a-kind acrylics. So I think I've said enough, and we should just get straight into making our first fall custom acrylic. Let's go. As usual, I'm gonna be making all of my acrylic mixes in these little glass jars. I buy them in bulk packages of like 40 or 50 jars on Amazon for like $30, which I think is a pretty good deal. They even come with these little lid stoppers, which are really important for making the custom acrylics. So I think I'm gonna start off by making a really basic reddish brown one, but of course it's not gonna be too basic because I'm gonna be adding like a million glitters into it. So for the pigment, I use either chalk pastels, which I grind up using an e-file, or I also have a nice selection of mica powders as well. The only thing with the mica powders is they do have a bit of a shimmer to them, so if you are wanting to make colors that aren't shimmery and just like solid colors, then you'll probably want to use chalk pastels. Definitely let me know if you guys know of any like pigment powders that aren't like shimmery like the mica powders are, because it would definitely be more convenient than grinding up chalk every time. I think that for the first one I'm gonna use mica powder though. There's a large selection of browns and like reddish browns in here. I think I'm gonna go with the copper one because I do want it to be a little bit more on the reddish side. Also, my air conditioning is on, as well as I have an air purifier that is on the lowest setting. So hopefully that doesn't interfere with the audio too much, but if you do notice it, I'm sorry about that. It's just these videos take me like upwards of 10 hours to film, including like the making of the acrylics and the doing of my nails, and I just cannot stand to be suffocating and sweating in my room for 10 hours. I think a little sprinkle of gold glitter would look really cute in there, so I'm just gonna put a little bit. I don't want it to just be gold glitter, but I want there to be like a little shimmer of gold. I'm also gonna add in a little bit of this coppery glitter. It doesn't have a lot of like iridescence to it or anything, but I think it will look pretty, hopefully. After putting that in, I realized that this one's definitely going to be leaning very heavily towards the copper side, so I think I'm gonna go back in and add just a dash of this maroon color just to make the base acrylic a little bit closer to that like coppery red glitter color. One of my subscribers anonymously sent me this giant box of glitter and in that giant box was this little organizer of these circle glitters, and I think that this combination of like gold and kind of reddish maroon would look really pretty in here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dump that entire thing in there. Kind of swirl it together to see what we're working with so far. Ooh, I do think that is very pretty. Also in that box from that subscriber is, if I can get this open, I found this glitter. Whoa, this has so many different kinds of like reflections in it, but like the overall tone is like a burgundy copper, which I like. So I'm definitely gonna just add the entire thing of this in there as well. Okay, I think that that's a solid amount of glitter for this one. So for this one, I'm going to add only clear acrylic all the way up to the top because I want all of those glitters to show through really well. And when you start adding white, it tends to make it look a little bit more pastel, a little bit more milky. I don't know how well you can tell, but I left a little bit of room at the top of the jar just in case I want to add anything else once I've swatched it. So I leave like a little bit of room for air. Then to mix it up, I'm going to take the stopper and I'm going to hold it down like this, just hold it down as tight as possible, and I'm gonna shake it up. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty. This is definitely the best way that I've found to shake up the custom acrylics without getting a whole bunch of spillage and fallout and stuff, because you can really make sure that it's sealed nicely. All right, I went ahead and set up my desk for doing acrylic. I have my dental bib as usual that I like to keep on top of my desk because it's waterproof and it'll protect the desk in case monomer spills, which with my clumsiness is like inevitable. I have my EMA monomer and my little paper towel that we're gonna use to do the test swatches. So let's do this. Y'all cannot even see that. So there's the first one. You'll definitely be able to see how pretty it is better after I put a top coat on it. So after it sets a little bit more, I'll put a gel top coat on it so we can see really how beautiful it is. But I do think that I'm going to leave this one like this. See, let me put a top coat on it. Oh yeah, and you can really see how beautiful it is. That is perfect. It's like the epitome of like fall leaves and pumpkin spice. I'm really happy with that. I'm so happy with that. Of course, we have to give it a name. So I'm going to be using my little label maker, which I will have linked down below in the description box. I got it from Amazon and it's super cool. You use an app on your phone called Printmaster. You just like tap and like edit the name of the label, and you can like add borders and little icons and everything. So yeah, this is the label maker that I've been using for a long time. Unsponsored, by the way. I just love this label maker and I don't want to gatekeep from y'all because you guys should be able to enjoy the greatness of this label maker as well. Anyway, ooh, what should I name it? What should I name it? What are trees called that change color in the fall? Deciduous. Okay, so since this one reminds me so much of like what the leaves of trees look like when they change color in the fall, I'm gonna name this one deciduous because that's the name, that's the scientific name for trees that change color with the seasons. I think that's perfect. Okay, next I want to make one that's like sage green, so like a very deep mauve green. So since I don't think I have the exact color in my chalk or my mica powders to create that color, I looked up what colors make sage green and I found this little make sage colored icing image on Google. So I think the one that I want to make is almost like either this olive colored green or this green tea colored one. So I think I'm just gonna start by mixing a brown with a green and seeing what happens, and then going from there and maybe adding a little bit of blue if I need to. And I'm gonna try to use the emerald green because it has more of a little bit like bluish undertone to start off with, mixed with only the smallest dash of this brown. So basically like the ratio should be like 4:1. 4 parts green, 1 part brown. And then I can go back in and like add more if needed of whatever color. Also, I'm not cleaning off my little cuticle pusher between colors because I'm really not that worried about the tiny bit of color that is left over. Okay, I'm gonna start with that. And actually, I'm gonna try to just like mix it together in here and see what it looks like. Yeah, it's looking like I think I could definitely add a little bit more brown and honestly maybe a dash of yellow as well. So another little dash of brown and also a dash of bright yellow. Let's see what this gives us. I think just a little bit more yellow and that should do the trick. I want it to be a little bit brighter. I think this is perfect, so I'm just going to try to be very intentional with the colors of glitter that I put in. I want it to kind of have a bit of a bluish yellow shimmer to it. This is another glitter from that box that I got from a subscriber, which if that was you and you're watching this video, please let me know it was you so that I can properly thank you, because there are so many cool different types of glitter in here that I don't have. But yeah, this has like the yellowish kind of blue reflections that I was telling you guys that I wanted. So I'm gonna put in a bunch of this. I don't know about all of it, but Okay, I think that's definitely enough. Also from that subscriber, this green super fine glitter that is like super sparkly and reflective. Oh my goodness. I can't tell if there's like a hollow aspect to it. Oh yeah, when you look at it in lighting that's not direct studio lighting, there's definitely a bit of like a hollow iridescence to it, as well as being super reflective and sparkly. So I'm gonna put in quite a bit of that as well. And then you guys just know me very well and know my love and obsession for glitter, because this one is from another one of my subscribers. Kelly, if you're watching, thank you so much for sending this to me, but I am definitely going to use it today. It's a little hard to tell on camera, I think, but it has a bit of like a bluish purple reflection to it almost. So I'm gonna put a little bit of this in here as well, because I really like that like greenish, bluish, purple sparkle. And I think it'll look really pretty and subtle. One thing that I'm trying to refrain from doing with these ones is just adding like a bunch of the same leaf glitters, because I do have a bunch of leaf sequin glitters, but I feel like they just kind of get drowned out by all of the other glitter anyway, and then you can't really tell what they look like and what they are. So I'm gonna just reserve those for putting on top as like little decals or accents, and I'm just gonna try to stick to thinking of more creative glitter mixes, because I know you guys have probably seen me dump like iridescent white fine glitter and leaf glitters into fall acrylics before, so I just want to try to do something a little different for you guys. So with that being said, I'm going to add my clear acrylic in like before, and I'm going to leave a little bit of room at the top just in case I decide to go in with a little bit of white acrylic after I swatch it the first time. Okay, let's get a swatch on this. I'm really excited to see how this looks. Acrylic looks so much like more vibrant and vivid and just like a lot different when you actually swatch it than in the powder form. I feel like it's missing something. Let me put some glossy top coat on though before I make the final verdict. Yeah, it definitely feels to me like it's missing something, and I think that what it's missing is the chunky glitter aspect. It just feels lacking and bare without the chunky glitter. Also, while I was digging through all the glitters, the end of this nail unfortunately broke off, which I already lost the end of this nail a few days ago banging it into like a chair or something. Just me having no self-awareness of my body. But these ones were just colored acrylic with dual forms, so no tips or anything like that. So the colored acrylic was definitely not strong enough to not have like clear on top, which is good to know for next time. But yeah, back to this. I decided that even though I just said I wasn't going to put leaf glitters, we really can't have a fall custom acrylic video without the leaves making an appearance at least once. So I am actually going to put in a few of these hollow chunky green leaves. And then I also have this really pretty mix of hexagonal chunky glitters that are kind of like a goldish green reflection, which I think is perfect for like the sage green, which is like a mixture of the brown and the green. So I'm actually just gonna pour all of it in there. And hopefully that's fine. And mix it up real quick. My hands are so dirty and full of glitter, so yeah, it's just gonna be that way. Sorry. All right, let's try this again. Ooh, already looking so much better. It's just so much more fun to look at with those chunky glitters in it. That's so perfect. I love it so much. Oh, and with the top coat, beautiful. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to have these acrylics on my nails. These are making me so excited for fall. Now it really feels like fall. I think I'm gonna have to show you guys a video of this green one from my phone, what the reflection looks like from my perspective versus from the camera's perspective angle, because from my perspective, it looks like so deep emerald green, like the chunky glitters that is, and from you guys' perspective, at least from what I can tell, it looks a lot more like gold. That is really beautiful. I'm so excited about that one. What do you call a tree that stays green during the fall? I think it's called evergreen. Yeah, evergreen. And I think I'm gonna have to go back and add a few coppery red leaves to this deciduous one, because since the evergreen one and the deciduous one are both about the changing colors of leaves, I feel like it's a perfect opportunity for them to both have leaves and just be beautifully cohesive in that way, you know? They're like a little duo. Yes, that is so perfect. So cute. That is a dynamic duo right there if I've ever seen one. I love it. I love it so much. Okay, I promise I'm gonna move on. I love how the green one has hints of gold and yellow in them, because like even evergreen trees, I feel like some of the leaves do tend to start turning a little bit brownish as they dry out or something. And then I love how this one has hints of red, gold, and orange in it. Like, it's so perfect. I'm so pleased with those first two. That is a very strong start, if I may say so myself. Obviously, we need to do an orange one, so that is what we will do next. I'm very much enjoying not having to grind up chalk, so I'm just gonna stick to using the mica powders for now, and I'm gonna use this bright orange one. It is just like the regular orange, but it's very bright, so I think I'm going to add a tiny dash of the brown just to try to make it a little bit more down to an earthy tone and a bit more soft and muted. We'll save the very bright orange acrylics for the Halloween custom acrylic video. I like mixing up the mica powder before doing everything else. That way I can just like really see the true color. I think it might actually be a little too brownish of an orange, but that's okay because we can totally just cancel it out by adding some of this super bright fine orange glitter, and that should brighten it up a whole ton. Yeah, it's definitely looking very coppery, so definitely want to add more bright orange glitters. So I think I'll also add some of these ones, which are a little bit chunkier than the last one. Do you guys think that this one is too bright? You know, I don't think that it is. So I am going to add a little bit of this because I need more chunky glitters in this. Like, I want there to be more chunky glitter, and I'm finding that I really don't have a lot of chunky orange glitter, unfortunately. Which means before my Halloween custom acrylic video, I should probably order some more, honestly. I wish so badly that I had more of these like hollow circle orange glitters. Like, these are perfect, but all I have left is the remnants inside this container. So I'm actually going to use them because might as well put them to use. And to get them out, I'm gonna use like a little fluffy brush and just kind of try to brush them out. And I have these like miscellaneous glitter sequins and this little mixture right here of like kind of pinkish and orangish stars I think is really cute. I think it'll look good. So we're just gonna add that in as well. Along with these ones over here, which are the exact same colors, but they're just little like circle cutout sequins. So yes, this is a very interesting mixture of glitters. This is what it's looking like without any acrylic, kind of blurred, so you can see all the little iridescent reflections. Here's what it looks like actually in focus, but hopefully it looks better when we actually swatch it and put a top coat on. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the acrylic in now. Just assume that if I don't tell you that I used white acrylic, that I'm gonna be using clear acrylic for all of these, because I just really like the color to be very bright and vibrant, and for you to be able to see all of the sparkly glitters, which in my opinion, you can do best if you just use clear acrylic. Alright, moment of truth for how bright this concoction actually is. Ooh. Okay, so far that looks really good, actually. Oh, got one of the little stars. I definitely do wish that I had more chunky glitters to put in this. I don't know, maybe the stars look a little out of place in there, honestly. I don't know if I like that little star. I don't know, what do you guys think? I wish you could tell me. I think I am going to add in a little bit more green, orange. Did I say green? What? I think I am going to add in a little bit more orange pigment to make the orange acrylic just a little bit more vibrant. The birds outside my window are very talkative right now. But anyway, instead of using the brown, I'm gonna try to use a dash of maroon to deepen the orange color a little bit, because I do just want it to be a little bit more like brownish reddy looking, kind of more like a pumpkin pie might look like. Ah, yes, that's much better. That is exactly the orange that I was picturing in my mind. I just wish that it had more chunky glitters in it, but it's okay. Should I put leaves in it? Guys, should I put leaves in it? No, I'm not gonna put leaves in it. I'm not gonna put leaves in it because right now this reminds me of magical pumpkin pie, and pumpkin pie does not have leaves in it. So I'm sticking to what I said in the first place, and we're not adding leaves to everything. Adding the glossy top coat, it's kind of hard to tell the difference actually, but I do think that this one looks more of like a deeper, like brownish reddish orange, which I do think fits like the fall vibes better than the lighter orange. This stinks. I'm trying to find like a cute icon to put on the label because the label maker has these really cute icons, but now they have like premium icons, which I guess you have to pay a subscription to use, and all of the good ones are premium. Oh, perfect. Okay. Nice. Super creative, I know. If you couldn't tell, I was being sarcastic. I know this is not a very creative name for a fall custom acrylic, but hey, it works. Okay, it doesn't have to be the most original, it just has to fit. And this definitely fits and definitely makes me very happy because it fits so well. Fits so well. Okay. All right. We definitely need a red because like mushrooms. It's a key element of fall. So the next one shall be inspired by woodland mushrooms. I don't really like any of the options for red in here, so I think we're gonna have to do a mixture of a whole bunch of different ones because this one is like way too brownish for me, this one's way too bright, and this one's way too coppery. So I think I'm gonna start with a mixture between these two. The main component will be the crystal ruby, so I'm gonna add in a good scoop of that, generous scoop. But then, yeah, that's just a little too deep for me. You know, I'm going for the red, like the mushroom in my background. This one's almost like too much on like the vampire red side. So I'm gonna add in a dash of this bright scarlet red that will hopefully kind of even things out. This may be too much mica powder now that I'm looking at it, but oh well. I actually really like that red for like a fall mushroom red color. So we're gonna go with that. Okay, so I've taken out a little assortment of different fine glitters that I could potentially use. I think these two together might be closest to the red that I actually want. This one's definitely a bit more on like the pinky side almost. And this one is more on the orange side. I don't want this to be on the orange side at all. I want it to be more on the brown side. So I think a mixture between these two might be good, except these don't have any other color reflections other than just like reflectiveness, you know, just regular reflectiveness. There's no iridescence to them, which is what I prefer to have in my colors. But hopefully I'll be able to find some chunky glitters that have that. I'm just gonna start by adding in some of this like more brownish red, like a copper basically. And then I'm going to add in quite a bit of this very bright red. Ooh, that is very reflective. That's very reflective, very nice. This chunky glitter has like a little bit of a different sort of reflection. Not really though. It's pretty much just like an orangish reflection, but I don't have any chunky glitter in here yet, so I definitely want to add some of this. And then I think I'm gonna add some leaves because I am just lacking chunky red glitter. I'm just lacking chunky red glitter that is like fall themed. I wish I had more of those just like big circular glitter mixtures. I really need to buy more of those. Those are really cool. All the other like red sequin glitters I have are either like butterflies or hearts, which I feel like isn't very much fall themed. I mean, I guess I could put some hearts, but I mean, they're just gonna blend in to everything. Whatever, I'm keeping it like this. And then finally, to add in a little bit of a different reflection, I'm gonna add in some of this fine iridescent glitter, which has a bit of like an orangey greenish reflection to it, which I think will look really pretty. I love digging my nail into this glitter, bro. It's so soft. I can't explain it. And I think that's good for the glitters, so I'm gonna go ahead and add the acrylic. I don't really have a specific number of scoops that I use. I just try to make my ratio of stuff that is not acrylic to acrylic powder about like 1 to 4. So like for every 1 part of like glitter and pigment and sequins and stuff, 4 times as much acrylic powder. Ooh, yes, that is definitely red. That's definitely red. I'm trying to decide if I want to make it more of like a burgundy red, like even deeper red, but I don't think I want to. I think that that is perfect. I feel like the true color isn't really even showing very well on camera. Maybe it's better from this one. Oh yeah, from the face cam camera, they look a bit different. But yeah, let me put the top coat on so you can see it in its true glory. That's so pretty. That is a perfect red, I think. I really like that. See, because I didn't want it to look too close to this like brownish coppery red, and it definitely doesn't. This one definitely looks more copper and brown, and this is red. What are the mushrooms called that are red with white spots? Amanita muscaria, a poisonous hallucinogenic edible mushroom. What? I think that's perfect. Another color that we need that we don't have yet is like a true chocolate brown. So I'm gonna use just the true brown. Actually, I changed my mind. We're not gonna do brown. Because here's the thing. I don't really have a lot of brown chunky glitter acrylics, which I know I'm gonna want to use for this. And I feel like this one, the deciduous glitter acrylic that we did already, is pretty much brown, and I don't need another brown. So I think I'm gonna do like a cream white instead. Because I feel like just in any set of acrylics, like just a neutral white or tan color is necessary. So I'm gonna go with white. I'm gonna make a milky white. So I'm gonna use a mixture of clear acrylic and white acrylic. But first I'm gonna put in some glitter. I was trying to find some clear iridescent or white iridescent leaf glitters, but unfortunately in the mounds of glitters that I have, I do not have any white leaf glitters. What I did find though is this really beautiful hexagonal white clear. It is absolutely so magical. I've never seen one like this before, and I'm pretty sure I got it from Temu. This is gonna be the first time I'm using it. Yeah, it's just like, look at that. Look at how beautiful that looks when it's blurred, and even when it's not blurred. I'm gonna use a lot of that. And then I think that one thing about fall is that the moon is always really beautiful. So I think I'm gonna use some moon and star sequins, but unfortunately the only ones that I have left, none of them are white or like just white. So I think that the closest would be this one, which is a little bit more kind of like on the tan side. So I'm gonna use all of those. I think that's a cute mix so far. And then I can't resist the glitter that I have used so many times before in my custom acrylic videos is this super fine white, like holographic iridescent glitter. I like to call it fairy dust. If you've seen my other videos, then yeah, you probably already know that. I'm gonna add a bunch of this in here. Yeah, that's looking so beautiful. I love that. I'm actually tempted to add more of these like moon and star sequins. These ones are like a kind of very light bluish color, and I think I'm going to because I don't know, I feel like it's just really cute to have those pops of like colorful moon and star glitters. So I guess this one ended up being like very night sky themed, which is perfect because I feel like in the fall the night sky is so beautiful. Like the moon in the fall, not even comparable to the rest of the seasons, I feel like. Okay, I'm gonna use up the rest of this clear acrylic. That was actually the perfect amount. There's just enough room left to add some white acrylic. I'm just gonna add in 1 full scoop of white acrylic to give it that milky white look. So I'm hoping that that mixture of clear and white acrylic will be just enough so that it looks milky white and you can still see all of the glitters really well. I don't know if you can tell very well, but it looks like you can just barely see the glitters inside of the acrylic, like besides the 2 stars on top. I feel like I could probably have put a little less white acrylic and you would have been able to see them better. I actually kind of like how it looks like the glitters are buried and you can just like barely make them out in there. I think that's actually so pretty. I'm actually in love with this one. Here's what it looks like in the face cam, in case you can see it better. That's so cute! With the little icons, that is so perfect. Alright, I think I'm happy with all of these custom acrylics. I have 5 custom acrylics that I really like, so 1 for each finger. I think that's perfect. So what I'm going to do for like the final swatch is I'm going to swatch them in 1 row on a clean paper towel so that we can see all of like the final acrylics. I went ahead and removed the nails from this hand because I think since today I'm wanting to build a set of acrylic nails, which takes me a lot longer, but today I just like, I don't know, I have that itch to build an acrylic nail that I get every so often, like instead of using dual forms or the lazy girl method. So I decided, even though I kind of do want a full set of like these fall custom acrylics, I'm just gonna start by filming one hand for the sake of time and we'll see what happens. So I have the hard gel cocoon on there. layer with the top coat like usual. If you want to see how I've been doing my prep and doing my protective hard gel cocoon layer to grow out my nails while still changing my sets very often, you can watch the full video that I made on how to do it. I will link it up in the corner for you. So I'm going to do something that I've actually never done before, which is do a set of curved tips. I found these ones on Amazon. They're so cute. Look at how curved that is. You can almost do like a claw nail with this curvature, but they're so adorable. Look at the little size, has a heart around it. So yeah, I don't know. I just feel like after I did the claw nails that one time, they were so comfortable and I was so surprised by how comfortable they were. And honestly, I used to see curved nails and like I did not like them, but now my perspective has totally changed and I actually really love the look of them, and I think that they're gonna be really comfortable just compared to how the claw nails felt. And let me know if you guys have a good recommendation for some curved full cover tips, because yeah, I have no idea where I would buy those, but I really do want some extra long curved full cover tips. I've got them all sized out. So what I actually think I'm gonna try to do is like file the free edge to look a bit more almost like a crescent. I've been rewatching Femi Beauty's old videos, especially like I love watching her do acrylic. She's so good at it. I've seen her do multiple times where she like uses a sanding band and files the free edge into more of like a crescent shape, and it looks really pretty. So I'm gonna try to do that with these, and I'm gonna use my e-file to do it. When Femi Beauty does it in her videos that I've seen, she usually uses a regular sanding band, but I'm gonna try using this mini one and see if that works as well. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong, but I don't really like how that looks, so I think I'm gonna just stick to not doing that. Instead of sizing out a new one though, I think that these are a little bit too long anyway, so I'm just gonna use my tip cutter, which look how adorable it is with this little heart. I actually found this at the Dollar Tree, an amazing find. And I'm just gonna go ahead and clip these all like right under the sizing marker. And yeah, I think that'll be a lot more doable of a length, especially because I am going to be keeping these as square. And as usual, I'm going to use my tip primer to etch the tips where they're going to be put on my natural nail, just to make sure that they stick really well to the gel. This tip primer, what it does is it basically just like chemically etches the tip inside. So you don't necessarily have to use a tip primer. You can also just use like a mini mandrel on your e-file to rough it up. I just find like this is a lot quicker and makes a lot less of a mess. And before I put any of the tips on or any acrylic, I'm going to put a layer of this peel off base coat that I've been using in combination with like my cozy cocoon method. This rubbery soft base coat that doesn't need like a special remover to be removed, I find works really well with the hard gel cocoon layer and the top coat. It makes switching out sets so easy. They do not peel or lift. I haven't had one nail come off, knock on wood, using this method before I go to take them off, and they're always secure, like really tight on there. But when I go to take them off, it takes sometimes a little bit to get a cuticle pusher like wedged under there, but you can also use cuticle oil to help remove the nails if you're having trouble with that. But yeah, I found that it even works with acrylic, so I'm gonna go ahead and put a layer of this on all of them. And I'm going to use the same gel to put on the tips once that base coat is cured. I love how curved these tips are. They fit my nails so nicely, especially because my nails are kind of naturally more curved, but then as well I have the hard gel layer on there, which makes them even more like structured or more sculpted, I guess. So flat tips do not work with my nails, but these, absolute perfection. Take out my gooseneck lamp. I like to turn it on so that it's ready. And all right, that looks somewhat straight. I went ahead and put down my dental bib. I got out my EMA monomer, my acrylic brush, which I'm going to be using the number 10 Pana brush. So here are all of the beautiful custom acrylics swatched. And I think I decided that for each nail, I'm going to do an ombre from one of the colors into the white. So that way all of the tips will be white and I'll still get to use all of the colors because I am in love with this white one. I don't know. Just like glittery white acrylics. I just can't help it. I love them so much. Also, if you're wondering about these little paw swatches, I just used my little silicone paw mold. And this way I can have a swatch for each of the colors to like put on top of the jars when I'm done. So I'll start with the red one, which is Fairy Tale Mushroom. And I'm just gonna start with small beads, ombreing it from the bottom. If you want an in-depth tutorial of how to start doing acrylic nails or like using acrylic to do your nails, I will link up in the corner my like acrylic 101 video basically, where I give you a list of supplies with links to all of the supplies you need to get started. And I also go step by step through how to do acrylic nails and give you all my tips and tricks and stuff for beginners. I actually have a whole playlist on my channel of like nail basics. So if you're ever wondering, if you ever want like a more in-depth tutorial of how I do something, because I don't really like to go super in-depth in every single one of my videos, then I would definitely recommend checking out that playlist because I do get a lot of questions and most of the time there's a video in that playlist that answers the question. But yeah, feel free to ask questions. I love when you guys comment and ask questions. It helps my channel because of the engagement, so I'm really thankful for it. But yeah, just in case I don't get to your question and answer it, I would check that playlist. And then I'm gonna take the white one, which is Harvest Sky, and I'm gonna ombre that one from the top. I wanna make sure not to put too much white on each nail, just like at the very tip. I wanna make sure that the other colors of the acrylic are prominent as well. And since I'm using the white on every single nail, I wanna make sure that it's only like at the tip. These would be really pretty acrylics to use in the winter too, honestly. But like I feel fall is all the way up until like December 22nd, right? So a lot of the Christmas festivities happen in the fall as well, so the Christmas vibes aren't completely unwarranted. I might have made the layer of glitter acrylic too thick because I am also going to go over everything with a layer of clear. I'll just have to make sure that the clear encapsulation layer is really thin. And I will also kind of like perfect the shape and structure and apex of the nail with that clear layer as well. Otherwise, that's looking good. So I'm just gonna continue doing that exact same. Oh my goodness, the crows are being so rude. Yeah, so I'm just gonna continue doing the exact same thing for the rest of them, but I'm going to, of course, use the other colors as well. So I think I'm gonna use the green next. You guys will have to forgive me if my acrylic skills are looking kind of poopy today. I haven't actually like built a nail with acrylic and tips for so long. Like it's gotta have been at least a few months since I've done this. So, and since this glitter, lol, basically, it's basically just glitter. Since this acrylic is so glittery, it doesn't make it very easy to build a nail. So yeah, that's why I'm trying to keep the layer thin so that I can build the nail structure more with the clear. But it's kind of hard to keep the layer thin and make sure that I'm like covering the entire nail with an even layer of the glitter and making sure that the glitters are where I want them to and such. So this might end up being a pretty chunky set, but at least I'm thankful that I won't have to file it off since I'm using the peel off base. I should be able to just pop it off because honestly, I don't mind wearing thick nails. Like, it doesn't bother me. What kind of bothers me is when they're thick and have like super chunky charms on them. Then that starts to like overstimulate me a bit. But yeah, just thick nails, I don't mind at all. What I really hate about thick nails is having to file them off. Especially thick acrylic is the worst. It's my least favorite thing to file. So hopefully I won't have to do too much filing for the shaping. But yeah, definitely to take them off, I won't be doing any filing. And that's honestly like the main reason why I use a peel off base coat now, is because honestly I don't really care that much about saving the nail art because I have like pictures and stuff of it. Yeah, that doesn't really matter too much to me, although it is really nice to be able to save my favorite nail art to like look back on one day. But the main reason I like to use a peel off base coat is because I really do not like having to file off my sets. It usually creates such a big mess. It takes so long and it's just so much easier to not have to do that. It saves so much time, especially because I change my sets so often for filming. I was like filing off a set every 4 days. It takes at least an hour usually to file it off. Super inconvenient. Knowing that I can just pop off the nails before I want to do a new set also is a lot more encouraging when I'm thinking about doing a new set, because usually I would like dread having to file off the old set. I don't know if I'm doing a very good job ombreing these acrylics either, but hopefully the nail art that I do on top will make the ombre just kind of like fade into the background and you won't actually be able to notice how bad of an ombre I'm doing. I think there might be also a little tiny bit too much glitter in this milky white acrylic, because every time I try to pick up some acrylic I just end up getting like chunky glitter sequins. So I think that's also making it a bit hard to ombre. Actually, I've decided that I'm going to make this ring finger like an accent nail, and I'm going to just do full orange because I feel like this orange is just really like the epitome of fall, so I think it deserves its own nail. think this orange is probably also the easiest to use because it has the least giant chunky glitters in it. So I've got all the custom acrylics on there now, and they're looking kind of chunky, lumpy, a little rough, not gonna lie. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a layer of clear over all of this, and I will be back to do some filing with you guys. I must admit that these are looking a bit startling. They're very chunky. These are some chunker nails if I've ever seen them before. Like, these are some chunky nails. Like, look at that. Those look crazy. They look crazy. But I'm hoping that with some filing, they're gonna look a lot better. Really hoping. So of course I'm going to be using my dust collector, which I really recommend that if you do your nails that you get yourself a dust collector, because it just helps get rid of all of the little dust acrylic particles from the air so that you don't breathe in so many of them. You can get really affordable ones on Amazon as well. This one that I have is from Melody Susie though, and it's always linked down in my description box, and I do have a discount code with Melody Susie. It's just Ann12, and that gets you 12% off. But you can get a dust collector from everywhere. There's really affordable ones on Amazon too. So I'm gonna start off with this bit, which is just like a medium coarseness, I think. Actually, this might be fine coarse barrel bit. I don't know if you guys remember, but this is the adorable one from Melody Susie with the heart gem on top. I love this one so much. And I'm just gonna use this on speeds 16 to 18 to try to quickly remove like the mass of the bulk from each of the nails and get them to a point where they're all about the same thickness. Okay, I actually ended up doing all of that basically off camera because it was just a lot. It was a lot, and I kind of nicked myself a few times. It really wasn't that bad. Whenever I have to do immense amounts of filing like that, it's hard to not just start getting kind of overstimulated and not being as careful as I should be and like nick myself a little bit. But honestly, my cuticles have definitely looked a lot worse in the past. Okay, I think they're looking okay, and overall, I think that these look way better than they were looking before, although they're probably not exactly what they're supposed to look like for like the curved nail shape. But this is my first time doing any sort of like curved tip. I mean, I guess I did do the claw nails, which were curved tips, but I've never built a just like curved nail before other than the claw nails, which I did once. So I'm not gonna be too hard on myself, and we're just gonna go with this. Also, I don't know if you can tell, I forgot to mention, I went back in with a little bit of the colored acrylic and overlapped it a little bit with the white ombre, and I think that made it look a little bit better. I wish that I would have done the thumb orange as well. I feel like it would have been a lot more cohesive and looked a lot better. It would have been so much better if the thumb was orange as well. But we're not done because I still want to do some nail art. And by nail art, I mean add a bunch of charms and rhinestones. I found these like yellowish gold, like bronzy rhinestones, which I think are going to be perfect for like the autumn vibe. And this is the only time you will be seeing me use gold charms instead of silver, because I am a silver girly through and through, but I think that gold will just definitely look better with these tones. So we're gonna do gold for once today. Also, I forgot to mention, I do have a base coat on top of all of these because after I cleaned up my whole area from the filing and everything, I took a break to go have dinner with my boyfriend, and I didn't want the nails to get stained or anything from the food. So I just put a base coat to protect the acrylic, because it's much easier to like clean off a smooth base coat than to clean off like all the dents and stuff that were in the acrylic from all the filing. And I was also planning on putting a base coat on anyway to kind of level out and smooth out the surface from all the filing marks. So yeah, that's why they're looking shiny. It's because there's a base coat on there. So to put on all the charms, I'm going to be using my Ivy Fix Gel as usual. You can use code ANN10 to get 10% off on Sweetie Nail Supply. Sometimes I forget to mention my discount codes in the video, but they're always linked down in the description box as well. So I'm going to start with the ring finger, which is supposed to be like the accent nail. And on this nail, I'm going to do that thing where you have like with a butterfly in the center and then kind of like a wave of rhinestones and gold caviar beads. I'm sure you've seen this kind of like nail art design done before. I can't name exactly who I saw it from, but I feel like I've seen it on Pinterest at least before a few times, and I think I've actually done it before a couple times, but yeah. Also, you guys, filing these nails is when I remembered why I don't ever build nails out of acrylic anymore. It's because the filing is horrendous. It's a horrendous process, okay? First of all, it takes forever. Second of all, the dust, like the amount of dust that it creates is insane. Like at some point, my dust collector ran out of battery and I didn't realize it, and there was just dust everywhere. I was listening to a video through my headphones, and also there was a really loud leaf blower outside, so I was like kind of hearing the leaf blower and thinking that it was my dust collector being on, but it wasn't. But yeah, cleaning up all the dust afterwards is just really annoying, and I just hate when there's dust everywhere. It's just such a long process, which is why it seems every time I build a set out of acrylics, it takes me like a couple months to do it again. And it's usually because it takes that amount of time in order for me to forget the pain I had when I was doing it the first time. All the reasons why I didn't like doing it the last time, I kind of just, once I finish the nails, I remember the final product, and that's pretty much it. That's like the same as when I worked at Starbucks. I worked at Starbucks for like half of a year, and then I left when I started college, and I remember telling myself that I was never gonna go back again to work at Starbucks because, you know, it was just like, I worked in San Diego at a drive-through location. It was just always so busy, and I was always so tired, and it was really like a high-stress job, low-key. But then what did I do? Half a year later, I'm getting Starbucks quite often, and I'm like, you know what? Why don't I just come back and work at Starbucks? Because I could use a free coffee every day. And then I came back, and after a couple months, I regretted it. So yeah, there's my random story of how I am a sucker for punishment. That's the thing about human brains. It's like nice. It's honestly, it's a gift to forget, but also a curse, because when you forget, it allows you to fall into the trap of doing the same thing again. All of this to say that I don't enjoy filing and building acrylic nails. It's a painful process for me, but for some reason I end up coming back to it every so often just because I miss it. And finally, for the top coat, I'm going to be using this Builder Gel top coat. So it's a bit of a thicker, stronger consistency, which I really like when using a whole bunch of charms because it's just going to make sure that they're extra sealed in and bonded to the nail, you know what I'm saying? I've really been enjoying putting all my different charms to use with these like charmed up nails. I don't think I would consider them like junk nails because I do kind of try to have some sort of rhyme or reason when putting the charms on, and typically with junk nails I would just pick a bunch of cute charms and just fill in all of the space, like whatever space possible. But obviously you could probably tell I've been kind of obsessed with doing like that Sanrio character charm or just like any sort of character charm with the little wings because I just think it is so adorable, and I'm probably going to overuse that a lot and do it very often, but you know, maybe at some point I'll get tired of it. But sorry if it just seems kind of unoriginal and I'm just like repeating the same design over and over again, but you know, it makes me happy to look at. So that's the goal with every set of nails I do. I want it to make me happy to look at. Also, I'm top coating all of the charms and all of the rhinestones because I want to make sure that everything is like sealed in onto the nail. It's also important to top coat any of the charms that have like metal on them, like the gold or silver charms, because those ones can start to tarnish, especially if you're planning on wearing them for longer than a week. You guys, I'm so happy with the way these turned out. I'm not completely sure how I feel about the curved nail tips yet, not gonna lie. I think I'm gonna have to live with them for a little bit before I truly know whether I like them or not, but I will definitely update you guys on how I like them in my next video. Look how cute the little teddy bear. Oh my goodness. This little teddy bear charm is adorable. This little arm waving. Yeah, here's a little close up. Don't forget that I am planning on doing a Halloween custom acrylic video soon, so that will definitely be out sometime in October, so don't worry. And also I should have a very epic Halloween nail haul coming soon as well, for those of you who are asking for a Halloween nail haul video. Anyway, cuties, thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up on your way out. It helps me out so much and I really appreciate it. I hope that you are having the most amazing day, night, week, life. Sleep well if you're going to sleep, cutie. I will hopefully see you in my next one. Bye!